Tonight, let's travel back more than 1,000 years to the cold northern lands where the Vikings made their homes. You may picture fierce warriors in battle, but behind the raids and sails, Vikings lived quiet, simple lives when they could, and they cared deeply about good sleep. Before you drift off tonight, take a moment to settle in, close your eyes, and if you truly enjoy calm stories like this, please like and subscribe. It really helps me keep bringing you peaceful history to fall asleep to. A Viking's day began before dawn. The first light would creep into small wooden houses called longhouses, where families, animals, and sometimes even visitors all slept under the same roof. These longhouses were warm in winter, built from sturdy logs and thatched roofs that kept the cold winds out and the warmth in. At night, the hearth fire would glow gently at the center of the room, a soft orange light that flickered against the walls, casting shadows that danced while people settled down for the night. Beds were often simple wooden frames lined with straw, covered in thick wool blankets and furs. In the cold north, warmth was precious. They'd sleep side by side, children close to their parents, sometimes a beloved dog curled at their feet. Unlike us, Vikings had no glowing screens to keep them awake. No phones, no streetlights, just the quiet crackle of the fire, the distant howl of the wind, or the soft snore of cattle nearby. These simple sounds reminded them they were safe inside. They rose and slept with the sun. Long winters meant long nights, so Vikings could rest for hours undisturbed by modern noise. The darkness outside was not something to fight. It was something to accept, to settle into with gratitude for warmth and shelter. So tonight, as you listen, think of that small fire in a Viking longhouse, the warmth wrapping around you like a thick fur blanket, the quiet hum of night settling in, the world outside fading as your mind drifts toward sleep. When you think of Vikings, you might picture fierce warriors, strong sailors braving cold seas, or rowdy feasts late into the night. But behind the helmets and ships was a life much quieter, shaped by hard work, fresh air, and a steady connection to the land, all things that made sleep come naturally when the day was done. A Viking's day was long and full. From sunrise, they rose with the light, their bodies already in tune with the turning seasons. Men and women worked side by side, tending sheep, chopping wood, gathering herbs, caring for children, mending sails, or crafting tools by hand. There were no desk jobs, no bright screens to strain their eyes, no constant noise of traffic or machinery humming late into the night. Instead, the air was filled with softer sounds, the creak of wooden beams, the lowing of cattle in the field, the chatter of family and neighbors working together. Even in the busiest seasons, each task was physical, using the body in ways that tired the muscles gently, making rest feel earned and easy when darkness came. Fresh air drifted through open doorways and smoke holes above the hearth. The smell of pine, sea salt, and damp earth was part of daily life. Long walks across hills and forests to hunt or gather firewood meant lungs full of clean, cold air. This simple closeness with nature grounded them. The sun told them when to rise, the moon when to sleep, and when the work was done, the village slowed. Evenings were for mending clothes by the firelight, telling stories that stirred the mind but soothed the heart. A favorite tale, a quiet tune on a simple harp, the warm scent of stews bubbling over the hearth. These gentle rhythms calmed a Viking's mind long before they laid their heads down to rest. Without bright lamps or screens, their eyes grew heavy with the fading firelight, Candles and oil lamps were precious, used sparingly. So darkness itself became part of life, a signal that the day was ending and it was time to turn inward, to let thoughts drift like smoke curling toward the rafters. They didn't worry about tomorrow's rush or late-night work emails. Their time was marked by the turning of the sun, the soft hush of the night, and when they crawled onto their straw beds, wrapped in wool and furs, their minds were quiet, their bodies ready for deep sleep. So tonight, let your thoughts wander back to that simple life. Imagine the hush after a long day's work, the warmth of the hearth, the slow fade of flickering firelight. Let that old rhythm of labor and rest remind you that sometimes the best sleep comes when life itself invites you to let go. When we think of how the Vikings slept, we can't forget how much the seasons shaped their nights. Far in the north, where summer days could stretch almost endlessly and winter nights could swallow whole weeks in darkness, the people who called themselves Norse had to find their own rhythm within nature's turning wheel. In summer, when the sun barely dipped below the horizon, work was long and daylight stretched across the land like a gift. Fields needed tending, fishing boats left at dawn and returned at dusk, and long voyages across the sea could take place under a sky that never quite turned black. During these months, sleep was lighter and often broken, a nap here, a few hours there, wrapped in furs under the stars or on deck with the gentle sway of the sea as their lullaby. Children played late into the bright evenings, adults shared stories and laughter outside the longhouse door, while the air buzzed with life. The warmth on their skin, the hum of insects in the grass, the endless glow of the sun filled their days with energy that lasted well into the short hours of night. And yet, when they lay down to rest, the simple weight of honest fatigue brought sleep easily, no matter how high the sun still lingered. But in winter, the story changed. The days shrank, and darkness took its place, wrapping the land in deep silence and heavy snow. This was a season for rest, for gathering close to the hearth and waiting out the cold together. The longhouse became a small world of its own, warm, dimly lit, full of the soft murmurs of family. The fire flickered through the dark hours, sometimes the only light for days at a time. Here, sleep stretched longer, with no fields to tend, no sails to raise against an icy wind. Families slept in shifts, curled close together for warmth. They told tales of the gods, Odin wandering the night, Freya's soft dreams, Thor's storms rumbling beyond the walls. Stories made the darkness feel less endless. Soft snores blended with the wind against the wooden planks and the crackle of the fire. Sometimes they woke at midnight to stir the fire back to life, share a warm drink, or speak in hushed voices before drifting off again. This was known as first sleep and second sleep, a natural rhythm many people have forgotten today. It was common to wake gently in the middle of the night, stretch, pray, talk, or think quietly before settling back down. These small awakenings were not seen as troubles, but as part of the natural flow of the night. Outside, snow muffled every sound. Wolves might howl in the far-off forest, but inside the longhouse there was only warmth, the breath of animals kept near for extra heat, and the steady comfort of family all around. The Viking world did not fight the dark season. It embraced it, using the cold months for repair, rest, and dreams of the coming spring. So tonight, imagine that deep northern winter, the walls thick with turf, the fire glowing orange, the hush of snow outside. Feel how that old rhythm of seasons shaped lives to bend and sway with nature, not against it. Let it remind you that sometimes sleep is not about fighting the dark or pushing away the cold, but about finding warmth within it, together under a roof where stories keep the night soft and sleep comes gently again and again. As you drift deeper into this quiet Viking night, imagine stepping inside a longhouse at dusk. The walls are thick with timber and turf, built to keep out the chill winds that sweep across the fjords. A single long fire runs down the center of the room, crackling and spitting tiny embers into the dark rafters above. Around this hearth, life pulses slowly, a heartbeat of warmth at the heart of the Viking home. Families gathered close around this fire for warmth, for light, and for a sense of safety. On benches lined with animal skins, elders sat with children curled into their sides. Stories floated through the smoky air, winding their way from one end of the longhouse to the other. Every flicker of flame threw shadows on rough-hewn beams, dancing like spirits from the old sagas. Unlike our separate bedrooms and locked doors, the Vikings often slept together in shared spaces. Privacy was rare, but so was loneliness. The closeness of bodies meant warmth on the coldest nights, and the quiet comfort of a mother's hum or a father's snore made even the darkest hours feel safe. The walls might groan under winter storms, but inside, the hearth was a promise that tomorrow would come. Beds were simple, wooden frames or straw mattresses laid along the walls. Furs, wool blankets, and cloaks layered thickly on top kept families wrapped in warmth. Children fell asleep listening to the low talk of adults or the quiet bleats of animals sheltered inside to share their heat. The rhythm of sleep was not forced by alarm clocks or harsh schedules. It followed the rise and fall of the fire, the hush of voices, and the long drift of dreams. Food played its part too. Supper was hearty but simple. Stews of root vegetables and dried fish, bread warm from the embers, mead or warm milk to soothe the body before bed. There were no heavy, spicy meals to upset the stomach late at night. Eating together by the fire calmed the mind, signaling that the day's labors were done and it was time to rest. Above the hearth, smoke curled upward through a hole in the roof, carrying away the day's worries with it. Families lay down, knowing that they had worked with their hands, walked the cold fields, tended their flocks, told their stories, and done what they could to keep the darkness outside at bay. Their dreams came gently, rooted in a life that knew when to work, when to gather close, and when to be still. So tonight, imagine lying there too, the fire crackling low, your head resting on a simple pillow stuffed with feathers or straw, your breath rising into the quiet rafters. Around you, the warmth of kin, the scent of wood smoke, the soft sigh of sleep settling over the house like a woolen cloak. And when you close your eyes, think of that hearth, the soft center of the Viking home, where warmth and stories were shared, and where sleep came not through struggle, but through simple, honest living. Let that warmth wrap around you too, carrying you deeper into dreams as the fire's last embers fade into the hush of night. Far from the warmth of the hearth, the sea was the other cradle of Viking sleep. For a people born of fjords and coastlines, the ocean was both a road and a resting place, a vast shifting blanket that rocked them gently under endless skies. Picture a Viking ship, its dragon prow cutting through dark waters under a pale moon. The sail is furled for the night, the oars rest silent against the sides. The men aboard, hardened by wind and salt, wrap themselves in wool cloaks and sheepskins. They lie shoulder to shoulder on the deck, pressed close for warmth, lulled by the hush and sigh of waves lapping at the hull. This drifting sleep was different from the longhouse's steady warmth. Here the world rocked and murmured, the sea whispered ancient secrets in its rolling swell. Salt air filled the lungs, bracing yet clean, clearing the mind of troubles. The night sky above was wide and endless, stars scattered like runes to be read by dreamers. There was little fear in these dark hours at sea. The Vikings trusted their ships as they trusted the sea gods to carry them forward. If storms came, they came, but until then the gentle heave of water, the rhythm of creaking timber, and the quiet breathing of shipmates made sleep feel safe even on the open waves. This sleep was not deep in the way we think of it now. It was watchful, ready. A man might wake to adjust a sail, take a short watch, or check the stars before lying back down, but this easy dozing, broken by gentle duties, kept them balanced with nature's pace. There was no blue light to jar them awake, no clock ticking off hours they could not hold. Only the sea's breath in and out, like a lullaby for hardened souls. When they woke at dawn, they rose with the sun. The chill wind bit at their faces, but their minds were clear, their bodies ready. They had slept as much as the sea allowed, and it was enough. They did not lie awake worrying about tomorrow's burdens or counting the minutes to morning. They rose when the world rose and slept when the world slept. So tonight, imagine yourself adrift on that gentle sea. The planks beneath you sway with each wave. The stars wheel overhead like ancient guides. The soft hush of water soothes your thoughts, rocking you into dreams. The worries you carry are left on distant shores. Out here, there is only the vast embrace of water and sky. Feel how your breath matches the tide, in, out, slow and steady. Like the Vikings, you are held by something larger than yourself, something wild yet comforting. The ocean cradles you as it cradled them, long before clocks and schedules and city lights. Out here, sleep comes naturally, carried on salt air and the soft roll of waves. When the sun's first light touches the sail, you will wake rested, carried forward by the same quiet trust. But for now, drift. Let the sea's song wash over you, soothing your thoughts into silence. Let each wave rock you deeper into dreams where time means nothing and rest means everything. As you lie here, soft and still, imagine drifting further back in time to a world ruled by sun and moon, a world where the Vikings lived in tune with nature's simple guiding rhythms. They didn't chase productivity deep into the night, staring at bright screens or fighting for a few hours of restless sleep. Instead, they rose with the dawn and rested when dusk folded the land into shadow. Historians tell us that in the far north, where summer days stretch long and winter nights feel endless, Vikings learned to shape their lives around this shifting light. In summer, they worked long hours in the fields, hunting, fishing, repairing boats and homes, always making the most of each golden hour. But when winter came, darkness reigned, and so they slowed down. Sleep grew longer, dreams deeper, stories longer still. They practiced what we might call segmented sleep, a natural rhythm once common in the old world. As fires burned low, families might drift into an early sleep soon after dusk, waking again in the quiet hours of night to talk softly, share food or drink, and then drift back into a second sleep until dawn. There was no shame in waking in the night, no panic about insomnia. The darkness was gentle, unhurried, and so were they. Picture a longhouse now, deep in winter. Outside, snow drifts pile against the turf walls, but inside the air is warm with the scent of burning peat and the soft murmur of sleepy voices. Someone stirs the embers, sending a glow through the shadows. Children wake for a moment, curl closer to their parents, and fall back into dreams as the cold wind sighs at the door. This slower pace helped their minds rest too. There were no artificial lights to confuse their bodies or rush their thoughts. The only light was the flicker of fire, the soft glow of oil lamps, and the moon that rose and set as it pleased. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, flowed freely in the darkness, guiding them into deeper, healthier rest. It's a pace we've forgotten. We chase the clock now, fight the night with bright bulbs and screens that trick our minds into staying awake. But the Vikings knew better, though they would never have called it science. They trusted the seasons to tell them when to rest. They trusted darkness to hush their worries. So tonight, imagine the darkness wrapping around you like a fur cloak. Let the flicker of firelight dance across your closed eyelids. Feel your breath match the slow beat of the night, in, out, quiet and easy. There is no rush here. The world outside your mind can wait. You are safe inside your own longhouse, sheltered by timber, turf, and time. And as you lie here, drifting between one sleep and the next, remember this truth. Rest is not something to win or fight for. It is a gift from the darkness, a promise that tomorrow will come when it's ready, just as it did for the Vikings, whose dreams rose and fell with the stars above. Let this night be your own winter's hush. Let your thoughts quiet like the wind outside a Viking door. Let your breathing soften and deepen. The hearth is warm, the shadows are safe, and in this stillness, you are exactly where you should be, resting as your ancestors did, with no need for clocks or screens, only the hush of night and the promise of the dawn to come. As you settle deeper into this Viking night, imagine yourself lying on a bed unlike the ones we know today. Vikings didn't have soft spring mattresses or layers of pillows, but they knew how to make simple beds warm and comforting against the Nordic chill. A typical Viking bed was made from sturdy timber, oak or pine, shaped and carved by hand. Some beds were simple frames filled with straw or dried heather, covered with woolen blankets and animal hides. The wealthier families might own ornately carved bed boxes where the headboard and footboard rose high, creating a cozy nook to keep warmth in and the draft out. In the Oseberg ship burial, one of the greatest Viking archaeological finds, they discovered not only treasures and tools, but an entire bed, beautifully decorated, its woodwork still telling stories across more than 1,000 years. This bed, fit for a queen in death, reminds us how important warmth and comfort were to the living. Vikings layered themselves against the cold using everything they had: sheep's wool, woven blankets, furs from bears, reindeer and foxes. They wrapped children tight and tucked them close, letting body heat pass from one to another. A family's warmth was as important as their hearth fire. Both were guarded carefully through winter's longest nights. Historians and archaeologists also tell us that Vikings were skilled textile workers. While we picture them with axes and swords, they also spun wool, dyed cloth, and wove thick fabrics on upright looms. Wool cloaks, linen underclothes, and fur-lined caps turned the bitter cold into something bearable. This made sleep easier. Warmth, after all, is the oldest lullaby. They also slept in groups. In the longhouse, families, servants, and sometimes even animals shared the same space. Livestock might be kept inside during the harshest winters, their breath adding warmth to the room. Modern research shows how co-sleeping like this, sharing warmth and closeness, can ease anxiety and deepen rest. The Vikings knew this instinctively. In the dark, they stayed together. Another detail often forgotten is the soundscape of Viking nights. Unlike our buzzing cities, their world fell silent when the fire burned low. You might hear the wind outside, the crackle of a log, the gentle shifting of someone turning over in sleep. No hum of engines, no blinking screens, no distant sirens, just quiet. And in that quiet, the mind found its place to drift and mend. They also trusted the simple rituals that signaled it was time to rest. They might listen to a skald recite an old saga by firelight, or hear a mother hum a lullaby to a drowsy child. Stories weren't just entertainment, they were part of the rhythm of sleep, passing time, softening thoughts. A good story soothed the mind, a gentle cloak for restless worries. So tonight, imagine your own bed as sturdy and hand-carved, warmed by the layers of blankets and the closeness of family. Feel the weight of wool and fur draped over your shoulders, soft and protective. Listen for the hush of wind outside your walls, but know that inside you are safe and warm, just like the people of old. There is no rush here, no bright light to pull you back into the waking world. Let your mind wander to that simple wooden bed, the one that has held countless dreams. Let your breath grow steady, like the slow creak of a timber frame settling in for the night. If thoughts come, greet them gently and let them drift like embers in the hearth. And remember, comfort is not new. The Vikings knew how to rest well because they trusted what nature gave them: warmth, darkness, closeness, and the simple craft of making a home within the storm. As you drift deeper into this Viking night, imagine the faint glow of embers still flickering in the longhouse hearth. The fire was more than warmth. It was the heart of the Viking home, burning low but never fully dying out. Someone always kept watch, stirring the coals if they dimmed too much, feeding the flames just enough to hold back the deep chill. In many households, this was a quiet duty shared by all. Perhaps the eldest son, half awake by the fire's side, or a mother nursing an infant, both acting as guardians of warmth and safety. Night watchers listened for strange sounds, wolves howling far beyond the fences, a sudden gust rattling the thatch roof. But inside, wrapped in furs and cloaks, families slept peacefully, trusting that someone kept the darkness at bay. Unlike us, the Vikings' sleep was guided by the sun and seasons. Long winter nights stretched for endless hours, encouraging more sleep, more rest. Scholars studying ancient sleep patterns believe that before artificial light, people often slept in two phases: an early sleep at dusk, then a waking hour or so, then a second sleep until dawn. The Vikings likely followed this natural rhythm, using the quiet middle hour for hushed conversations, prayer, or stoking the fire for warmth. Imagine waking briefly in the night, seeing the shadows dance along timber beams, hearing a low murmur of voices and the calm crackle of the hearth. You'd roll over, adjust the wool blanket, and drift back down into dreams as naturally as breathing. In some sagas and folklore, dreams held meaning. A dream could foretell a journey, warn of danger, or promise good harvests. Families shared their dreams at the morning meal, looking for signs in the stories the mind told while the body lay still. The line between the waking world and dreams felt softer, like a doorway left ajar. Their beds might seem hard by modern standards, but there was comfort in simplicity. Straw was replaced as it flattened, heather renewed when it lost its spring. Wool blankets were brushed and mended with care. Everything lasted longer, passed down through seasons. A blanket worn by a child might later cover that same child's son or daughter. There was pride in such things, a sense that warmth was earned and shared, not bought. Even their houses were built to hold in warmth. Thick turf roofs, timber walls packed with moss, and low doorways that kept out cold drafts. Smoke from the hearth darkened the beams, but also sealed tiny cracks against winter winds. There were no glaring lights or humming heaters, only the steady warmth of the fire, the closeness of family, and the softness of fur and wool. And in that closeness, they found peace. Sleeping near siblings and parents, listening to the same night sounds, breathing the same warm air. Modern science might call it co-sleeping, but for the Vikings it was simply life, and it soothed the mind and spirit. Safety, warmth, belonging. These are the roots of restful sleep. So as you lie here tonight, think of that world. Imagine the soft light of embers, the smell of pine smoke, the quiet sighs of sleepers nearby. Let the hum of your own breathing blend with theirs. Know that you too can find calm in these old ways, a slower pace, a darker room, a blanket wrapped tight. There is wisdom in the way they slept, trusting the darkness, welcoming the dreams, keeping warmth close and worries far. Take that with you now as your thoughts soften and your eyelids grow heavy. There is no rush, no bright screen, no restless noise, only the gentle hush of a Viking night waiting to cradle you into sleep. Let us wander deeper into the quiet world of Viking sleep, where each night was touched by small rituals that shaped rest into something sacred. While today we chase sleep with screens still glowing, the Vikings prepared for it, step by steady step. Before the long house settled into hush, the final tasks of the day unfolded like a slow dance. A child would help carry in an armful of firewood to feed the hearth through the night. Another might gather fresh straw to patch a sleeping mat. The smell of smoke and earth mixed with the warmth of wool, reminding everyone that the outside world, the harsh winds, the distant howls, was kept firmly outside these sturdy walls. Parents shared quiet words with children, telling stories or old sagas passed down through countless winters. These stories were more than entertainment. They were threads binding the family together. Imagine drifting off with your head resting near the storyteller's knee, half awake, half in the world of heroes and spirits, safe in the sound of a loved one's voice. When the house was ready for sleep, small gestures mattered. Embers were banked so they wouldn't blaze too high or die too low. Doors were barred with thick beams to guard against wolves or wandering thieves. The simplest chores done before bed became part of the peace that followed. Modern science reminds us that these small acts, the winding down, the darkening of rooms, the soft murmur of a trusted voice, all tell the body it is time to rest. The Vikings didn't need clocks or reminders. They trusted the rhythm of firelight and fading daylight to guide them, and so the family sank into layers of fur and wool side by side, older folk near the hearth for warmth, younger ones huddled together for comfort. If an infant woke crying, it found warmth at its mother's side. If a sleeper stirred, the creak of the timber roof above and the crackle of coals below reassured them that they were not alone. Outside, the northern wind might blow fierce over fields and forests, but inside, the night was soft. The low hum of breath and the occasional shift of straw were the only sounds in this pocket of warmth. There were no city noises, no distant engines or street lights, only the timeless hush of the land and the steady warmth of human presence. Historians studying Viking burials have found traces of everyday items laid lovingly beside the dead, simple combs, blankets, beads. It tells us that warmth, comfort, and care followed them even into the afterlife. If sleep was a nightly passage to dreams, death was a passage to something more, and they dressed the journey with the same quiet grace. So now, while you rest, think of those gentle gestures, the embers tended, the straw renewed, the stories whispered. Each one made sleep not just necessary, but good. A small promise each night that the dark held no terror, only dreams and renewal. Tonight, you can borrow that old calm for yourself. Maybe you too can leave a lamp off, let shadows deepen and feel the hush return. Maybe you can shut your eyes and hear the soft breath of family long past. Feel the wool blankets settle over you like a protective cloak. The Vikings may have feared storms and hunger, but they trusted sleep as their shield against weariness. They rose with the sun ready to work the fields, tend the animals, and shape their world again. And it all began with a fire's glow, a family's closeness, and a mind at ease under a dark sky. So lie still, let your breath slow, picture the heavy wooden door closed tight, the hearth's warmth seeping into your bones. Imagine that outside, beyond the turf walls, the night roams wild, but here inside, sleep waits for you like an old friend. In this calm, you can drift where worries fade, guided by the simple, timeless ways that helped the Vikings sleep better than we often do today. Feel your eyes grow heavy, your thoughts soften like the old straw under you. Let the hush carry you, as it did them, into dreams of warmth and safety. As the night deepens, let's explore what made Viking sleep not only restful, but remarkably well suited to their world. Their sleep habits were shaped by a mix of natural cycles, practical needs, and cultural traditions, elements we can learn from even today. First, consider the natural rhythm of day and night. Before artificial lighting, Vikings lived closely attuned to the sun's movements. Their days began at dawn and ended soon after sunset. Without electric bulbs or screens, their exposure to light was soft, flickering firelight or the dim glow of the northern stars. This low-light environment helped regulate melatonin, the hormone that signals the body it's time to sleep. Today, scientists agree that bright screens and artificial light can disrupt this natural rhythm, making it harder to fall asleep and achieve deep rest. The Vikings' dim homes and early bedtimes allowed their bodies to produce melatonin naturally, leading to more restorative sleep cycles. Seasonal changes played a big role as well. In the far north, where Vikings often lived, winters brought long nights and short days, encouraging longer sleep durations. Summer months offered short nights and longer waking hours. This seasonal variation helped their bodies adapt to changing environments, unlike our modern, constant 24/7 light exposure. Inside their homes, Vikings created cozy, insulated spaces. Their longhouses were built with thick wooden walls, packed earth floors, and turf roofs covered in moss or straw. This insulation kept warmth in and cold out, creating a stable indoor climate crucial for good sleep. Archaeological digs have uncovered layers of animal hides, woolen blankets, and stuffed straw mattresses, all natural materials that regulate temperature and wick away moisture, ensuring sleepers stayed dry and warm. The use of natural bedding contrasts sharply with many modern synthetic materials that can trap heat or irritate the skin. Vikings' careful use of wool and fur provided softness and breathability, helping maintain comfort through cold northern nights. Another key factor was the absence of noise pollution. Today's cities buzz with constant sound, traffic, machinery, human chatter, all known to disrupt sleep cycles and increase stress levels. The Viking world, though not silent, was filled with natural sounds, crackling fires, distant animal calls and the whisper of wind through trees. These gentle, natural noises can promote relaxation and help the brain transition to sleep more smoothly. Vikings also believed in the power of ritual before rest. Many sagas mention prayers or blessings said before sleep, seeking protection from spirits or dreams that might warn of future events. This mindfulness, a moment to settle the mind and body, aligns with modern advice to create bedtime routines that signal it's time to unwind. Lastly, consider their communal sleeping arrangements. Many Vikings slept in groups, sharing heat and a sense of safety. Today's science supports the idea that physical closeness can reduce stress and promote feelings of security, releasing oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which in turn fosters relaxation and better sleep. So, as you lie here now, take in these lessons from a world long past. Dim your lights, breathe deeply, and feel the natural rhythms your body remembers. Imagine the soft weight of woolen blankets, the steady warmth from a carefully tended fire, and the peaceful presence of those you trust nearby. The Vikings didn't just survive their harsh world, they thrived by respecting the rhythms of nature, nurturing their bodies with warmth and calm, and honoring the night as a sacred time of rest. And tonight, you can borrow that ancient wisdom, allowing it to guide you gently into your own deep and healing sleep. To understand how Vikings slept so well, we must look closely at how their daily lives set the stage for restful nights. Their routines, shaped by the demands of survival and community, naturally prepared them for deep, restorative sleep. From sunrise to sunset, the Vikings worked hard. Farming, fishing, crafting, and trading filled their days with physical activity. Archaeological evidence shows they engaged in strenuous labor, clearing forests, building longships, and tending livestock. This physical exertion naturally tired the body in a healthy way, promoting the need for good sleep to repair muscles and replenish energy. Unlike many of us today, whose days can be sedentary and screens dominate, Vikings' activity levels helped regulate their internal clocks and hormone levels. Exercise, especially outdoors, boosts sleep quality by reducing anxiety and helping regulate body temperature, two important factors in falling asleep and staying asleep. Mealtimes also influenced rest. Vikings ate several small meals during the day, rich in protein, fish, grains, and vegetables. Their diets were free from processed sugars and caffeine, substances known today to interfere with sleep patterns. Instead, their food choices supported steady blood sugar levels and minimized nighttime wakefulness caused by indigestion or energy crashes. Before bedtime, Vikings likely avoided heavy meals or stimulants, a practice aligned with modern sleep hygiene recommendations. They might have enjoyed warm broths or herbal teas, natural remedies found throughout the Nordic world, known for their calming properties. Another crucial part of their routine was exposure to fresh air. Viking homes were smoky but well ventilated, with hearths centrally located and smoke outlets in the roof. This allowed the air to circulate while still keeping the space warm. Fresh air is vital for oxygen levels and helps regulate body temperature, which affects sleep cycles. Vikings were also deeply connected to the natural world. Their understanding of seasons, weather, and celestial cycles influenced their schedules. They rose with the sun, rested when it set, and aligned their activities with daylight hours. This harmony with nature promoted balance in their circadian rhythms, something many modern people struggle with due to artificial light and irregular schedules. Beyond the physical, Vikings placed great importance on mental and emotional well-being, both essential for good sleep. Community bonds were strong. People gathered to share news, stories, and music. Social connection reduces stress and anxiety, factors that modern research links to poor sleep. The sense of belonging and safety within a longhouse fostered calm and relaxation. Spiritual beliefs also played a role. Vikings believed in protective spirits and ancestral guidance. Rituals before sleep, such as prayers or blessings, helped ease worries and create a peaceful mindset. Today, mindfulness and meditation are recommended to prepare the brain for rest, showing how these ancient practices anticipated modern science. Lastly, consider the simplicity of Viking life. Without the distractions of technology or overwhelming schedules, their minds had space to slow down at day's end. The quiet moments by the fire, the soft rustle of straw, the shared warmth of blankets, all signaled the body to relax and prepare for sleep. As you listen, imagine yourself in a Viking longhouse, the scent of pine smoke drifting through the air, the steady heartbeat of community surrounding you. Feel the satisfaction of a day well spent and the quiet anticipation of deep rest. Tonight, take a page from the Vikings book. Move your body in the day's light. Eat nourishing food, honor the night's quiet rituals, and create a calm space for sleep. Your body remembers these rhythms, and when you listen, sleep will come gently, restoring you for the day ahead. As we draw closer to the end of our journey through Viking sleep, let's reflect on the enduring lessons this ancient way of resting holds for us today. The Vikings lived in a world vastly different from ours. No smartphones, no electric lights, no endless distractions. Yet, their sleep was deeply restorative, built on harmony with nature and mindful daily habits. Understanding their approach reveals timeless truths that can help us reclaim better sleep in our fast-paced world. One of the greatest Viking legacies is their respect for natural light and darkness. Their bodies followed the sun's cycle, waking with dawn's soft light and resting soon after sunset. This practice aligns perfectly with what modern science calls the circadian rhythm, a natural 24-hour cycle governing our sleep-wake patterns. Disrupting this rhythm with late-night screens or irregular schedules throws our internal clocks off balance, leading to poor sleep quality. Vikings also valued the environment in which they slept. Their longhouses were crafted from natural materials, wood, straw, animal hides, that regulated temperature and moisture. These homes provided a cozy, calming atmosphere, far removed from today's artificial and often overstimulating bedroom environments. Creating a sleep space that is cool, dark, quiet, and comfortable is a powerful way to encourage deep rest. Their use of natural bedding is another point to consider. Modern mattresses and pillows, while advanced, often rely on synthetic materials that can interfere with body temperature regulation. The Vikings' reliance on wool, fur, and straw provided insulation and breathability, ensuring they stayed warm without overheating. Finding bedding that suits your natural body temperature can improve sleep quality immensely. The Vikings' daily rhythms of physical activity, simple meals, and social connection played a vital role too. Regular exercise, especially outdoors, helps the body regulate stress hormones and fosters fatigue, making sleep easier. Their diet, free from stimulants and processed foods, supported steady energy levels and avoided nighttime disruptions. Social bonds and spiritual practices further contributed to their peaceful rest. Feeling safe and connected lowers cortisol, the stress hormone promoting relaxation. The nightly rituals of prayer or meditation calmed the mind, similar to modern mindfulness techniques proven to improve sleep onset. We also see the value in embracing seasonal changes. Vikings adjusted their routines naturally with the longer nights of winter and extended days of summer. This flexibility contrasts with our modern tendency to fight natural cycles with constant artificial lighting and climate control. Honoring these rhythms can help synchronize our bodies with nature's patterns, improving sleep and overall well-being. In a world that rarely slows down, the Vikings' example reminds us of the power in simplicity, routine, and connection. As you prepare for sleep tonight, dim your lights, breathe deeply, and create a calm environment. Let go of the day's worries, honor your body's natural rhythms, and invite the deep rest that your ancestors once knew. By embracing these ancient truths, you can find rest not just in sleep, but in the gentle balance of life itself, a balance that the Vikings mastered in their longhouses under starry northern skies. As we look back on the Viking way of sleeping, it's remarkable how many of their habits resonate with today's wellness trends. Modern sleep science increasingly confirms that the foundations the Vikings lived by are key to achieving restful, restorative nights. One major lesson is the power of disconnecting before sleep. Vikings had no screens or artificial blue light, which we now know suppress melatonin, the hormone that signals the body to prepare for sleep. Instead, they enjoyed natural light during the day and welcomed darkness at night, allowing melatonin levels to rise naturally and gently ease them into rest. Their social routines also play a part. After a day of work, communities gathered around the hearth to share stories and songs, strengthening bonds and promoting relaxation. Social connection is essential for mental health and stress reduction, both of which directly impact sleep quality. Tonight, consider your own evening rituals, perhaps a calming conversation or quiet time with loved ones to foster the same peaceful mindset. Vikings' emphasis on movement is another timeless element. Their physically demanding lifestyle helped balance their bodies and minds. Regular exercise today is recommended by sleep experts to reduce insomnia and improve sleep depth. However, it's important to time physical activity properly. Vikings naturally stopped intense work by nightfall, allowing their bodies to cool down before rest, a key factor for falling asleep easily. Nutrition also plays an undeniable role. Their diet, rich in omega-3 fatty acids from fish, whole grains, and fresh produce, supported brain health and stable energy levels, avoiding sugar spikes that can disrupt sleep. Studies show omega-3s improve sleep duration and reduce nighttime awakenings, hinting at why Vikings may have rested so soundly. Even the Viking approach to stress management aligns with modern advice. Their spirituality, rituals, and respect for the natural world created a sense of meaning and calm, buffering the stresses of daily life. Today, mindfulness, meditation, and grounding practices echo this wisdom, helping to quiet racing thoughts before bedtime. Incorporating these lessons into your own routine can be transformative. Simple steps like dimming lights an hour before bed, engaging in calming social interactions, moving your body during daylight, eating balanced meals, and practicing mindfulness can recreate the peaceful environment the Vikings knew so well. Their sleep wasn't perfect, no human's is, but the balance they achieved between body, mind, and nature remains a powerful guide. As you rest tonight, imagine the tranquility of a Nordic evening, the soft crackle of a fire, the hush of the vast wilderness outside, and let that calm settle deep within you. As our journey through Viking sleep comes to a close, it's clear that their approach was about much more than simply lying down to rest. It was a holistic way of living that prioritized balance, respect for nature, and community, elements that modern life often neglects. To truly embrace Viking sleep wisdom today, start by reflecting on your relationship with time. Vikings lived by the sun's natural rhythms, rising and sleeping with daylight and darkness. In contrast, many of us live under constant artificial light, disrupting our internal clocks. Consider gradually aligning your schedule more closely with natural light, morning sunlight to wake up and evening darkness to wind down. Next, focus on your environment. Make your bedroom a sanctuary, a place free from distractions and technology where the air is fresh and cool and the bed is comfortable. Vikings used natural materials that breathed well and maintained warmth without overheating. Try incorporating natural fabrics in your bedding and keep the room slightly cool around 16 to 19 degrees Celsius to encourage restful sleep. Movement is essential, but balance is key. The Vikings worked hard all day but rested fully at night. Find a rhythm that fits your lifestyle. Be active during daylight hours, but allow your body time to unwind before bed. Gentle stretching or calming yoga in the evening can be a modern echo of the Vikings' winding down rituals. Dietary choices also affect sleep. Emulating Viking nutrition means favoring whole foods, fresh fish, vegetables, grains, and limited processed sugars or caffeine. Try to avoid heavy meals late at night and consider soothing herbal teas like chamomile or valerian root, reminiscent of the herbs the Vikings may have used. Don't underestimate the power of social and spiritual connection. Vikings found comfort in shared stories and rituals, strengthening community bonds. In today's busy world, making time for meaningful conversations or quiet reflection can calm the mind and heart, preparing you for sleep. Finally, cultivate mindfulness. Vikings lived deeply attuned to nature's cycles, respecting the quiet of night and the promise of dawn. Bringing that awareness into your life through meditation, deep breathing, or simply appreciating the stillness before sleep can foster the same calm that soothed Viking minds. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, imagine the timeless wisdom of those northern lands, the soft glow of firelight, the gentle hum of nature, the steady presence of community. Let these images and ideas guide you into a deep, healing sleep. Sleep well, and may you carry the calm strength of the Vikings into your dreams and every new day. Thank you for joining me on this peaceful journey through the sleep habits of the Vikings, a people who lived long ago in the far north, yet whose wisdom still resonates deeply with us today. Their way of resting, so closely tied to the natural world and to a balanced, mindful life, holds lessons that remain relevant as we seek calm and restoration in our modern lives. As you settle into the quiet moments ahead, remember that true rest is more than just closing your eyes. It's about creating a space, both around you and within you, where peace can grow. The Vikings knew this well. Their homes, built from natural materials, offered shelter not only from the harsh weather, but also from the worries of the day. They lived by the rhythm of the sun, waking with its gentle light and resting when darkness fell. This harmony between body and nature is a gift we can still give ourselves. Tonight, as you prepare to sleep, think of the soft glow of the hearth fires in a Viking longhouse, the gentle sounds of the wind outside, and the warmth of shared community. These images can be a refuge, a place of calm to carry with you into your dreams. If you truly enjoy the content I create and find comfort in these calming stories, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support encourages me to continue exploring and sharing soothing histories and facts designed to help you unwind, relax, and sleep peacefully. Remember, good sleep is a foundation for a healthy life. Just like the Vikings, we all deserve a restful night that restores our energy, clears our minds, and soothes our hearts. Whether it's by dimming the lights, breathing deeply, or simply allowing yourself to let go, each small step brings you closer to that deep, restorative rest. Thank you for allowing me to guide you tonight. May the quiet strength of the Vikings inspire your dreams and fill your sleep with calm and renewal. Sleep well, and until we meet again, good night.